Hi everyone, good evening. Welcome to Professor Academy's UGC NET Sociology classes. So today's class is a PYQ session. So we are starting our PYQ sessions today. Today is the first PYQ session and we are starting with our first unit itself, which is sociological theory. So this unit, this unit is the most important unit and you can expect more questions from this unit. Okay, this unit and research methodology part, you can expect more questions. So this is a very important unit. That's why we are starting with this unit. And while selecting questions for this class, you know, uh, we have we have only a limited time for this class. Like today, we have only 1 hour. So while selecting questions, I have a limitations to just select questions to include or to discuss within 1 hour. So it was a very difficult task because even in one question paper or one paper, sociology, for example, in sociology last net question paper itself, we can see lots of questions from this unit, like at least 7 to 8 questions from this unit. So it is a very important unit and we can expect a lot of questions from this. Okay, so it is really important for you to practice previous year questions because we can see lots of questions repeatedly asking again and again. Okay, so it is very important for you to practice PYQs as much as possible. Okay, so because of our limited time, I have only included some most important questions or some not that much common questions. Okay, I try to include that kind of questions. So anyway, let's start our class. So our first question itself is a match the following, and you can see a lot of this kind of questions in your net paper. So especially sociology paper, you can see a lot of like match the following, match thinkers with their works, or match thinkers with their concepts. Like that, you can see a lot of questions. Okay, so this one is you have to match thinkers with their works. Okay, and on the thinker side, we have Radha-Kamal Mukherjee, G.S. Kure, B.R. Ambedkar, and M.N. Srinivas. And on works or books side, we have Buddha or Karl Marx, Village, Caste, Gender, and Methods, The Land Problems of India, and Social Tensions in India. Okay, so we have 4 thinkers and 4 works here. You have to match them with each other. Okay, I'll give you a few seconds to answer. Just try and answer in the comments below. Then let's check the answer. Okay, please answer. Okay, I'm seeing no answers. I think I can go to the, or I can move to the answer part. Okay. Okay, so let's check the answer for this question. So the answer is option A, which is A3, B4, C1, and D2, which is Radha-Kamal Mukherjee, The Land Problems of India, B4, which is G.S. Kure, Social Tensions in India, C1, B.R. Ambedkar, Buddha or Karl Marx, then M.N. Srinivas, Village, Caste, Gender, and Methods. Okay, so that is the right answer, option A. So, Land Problems of India, it is written by Radha-Kamal Mukherjee and it was published in 1933. Okay, the next book, Social Tensions in India, it was written by G.S. Kure and got published in 1968. The next book, Buddha or Karl Marx. So it is a, or It's a book taken from a speech delivered by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Okay, so or this book is related to, or it is about a speech delivered by Ambedkar, and this book contains a comparative study of the ideas proposed by uh, proposed by Ambedkar about Buddha and Karl Marx. Okay, so I'll correct this. So it is a comparative study of the ideas proposed by Buddha and Karl Marx. So here in this book, Ambedkar is talking about, or Ambedkar is doing a comparative study of the ideas proposed by Buddha and Marx. And this book was first published in 1987 as part of Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar Writings and Speeches, Volume 3. And then it was reprinted by Dr. Ambedkar Foundation in 2014. Okay, so that is Buddha or Karl Marx. Then next book was Village, Caste, Gender and Method, Essays in Indian Social Anthropology. Okay, so that is the complete title of that book, Village, Caste, Gender and Method, Essays in Indian Social Anthropology, written by M.N. Srinivas in 1996. Okay, so that is the answer of our question. So now let's move to our next question, which is, which of the following aspects is, or aspects are not associated with the works of M.N. Srinivas? Okay, which of these aspects are not associated with? Okay, the question is not about the aspects related to the works of M.N. Srinivas. No, it is about the aspects which are not associated with the works of M.N. Srinivas. Then the options are option A, not options. The given aspects are statistical view of caste, field view of caste, functional unity of caste. Okay, among these, which aspect is, or which aspects are not associated with the works of M.N. Srinivas? You have to find the right answer from this options given here. Okay, find the aspect or aspects which are not associated with the works of M.N. Srinivas. Okay, please answer this question in the comment box. You can answer the questions in the comment box. I'll give you a few seconds. So while answering these questions, if you are not aware about the aspects which are not associated with M.N. Srinivas, then you can try to find the aspects which are related with the works of M.N. Srinivas. Okay, then you can easily answer the question. This is very easy question. Just try to find out which aspects are discussed by M.N. Srinivas in his works. That's it. It's a very simple question. Anyone know the answer? Please comment in the comment down. It's okay if the answer is wrong. Just try. Just give it a try and answer what you think is right. Okay, so I'm not seeing any answers. So I think we can move to the answer part. So the right answer is option 1, which is A only. So here, 3 aspects are given here, which is statistical view of caste, field view of caste, and functional unity of caste. Okay, and among this, we have to find out the aspect which is not associated with the works of M.N. Srinivas. Okay, so here it is obvious that M.N. Srinivas's works discussed about, or works are related to field view of caste and functional unity of caste. So of course, among these 3 aspects, the one which is not related to M.N. Srinivas's work is of course A, statistical view of caste. It is not associated with the works of M.N. Srinivas. So here we have 2 options, field view of caste and functional unity of caste, which is already associated with M.N. Srinivas. So what is field view? So field view actually emphasizes on actual field experience to understand social reality. Okay, so that is field view. It emphasizes on actual field experience to understand social reality, and it is mostly based on either direct observation or participant observation. Okay, then M.N. Srinivas's field view was, or M.N. Srinivas's method was structural functional method, or his approach was structural functional in nature, and he believed that field work was the only way to truly understand Indian society. Okay, and he asserted that the local caste system operated very differently from how the Vedas depicted it. Okay, so according to him, or he said that the local caste system in India was completely different from how it is depicted in Vedas. It is not at all like how it is described in Vedas. Local caste system is completely different from the depiction of it in Vedas. And he asserted this claim by actively participating or simply by conducting field work in various villages. And according to him, the caste system functioned as a mechanism of social stratification which ensured the division of labor and distribution of resources among various social groups. Okay, so it is clear that M.N. Srinivas discussed about field view of caste and functional unity of caste. So, among these three aspects, the one which is not associated with M.N. Srinivas is, of course, statistical view of caste. So, that is our answer. Okay. So, now let's move to the next question. Third question. Which of the following characteristics of the caste system were not emphasized by G.S. Ghurye? So, here also they are asking about the about something which is not related to G.S. Ghurye. Okay, they are not asking the characteristics of caste system given by G.S. Ghurye, but they are asking the characteristics of caste system were not emphasized by G.S. Ghurye. So here also, in order to answer this question, we have to find out which characteristics did G.S. Ghurye talk about. Okay, then we can easily understand what he did not talk about. So the options are segmental division, hierarchy, open system, achieved, pollution and purity. So among these 5 characteristics, you have to find out the characteristics of caste system which is not emphasized by, or where characteristics which are not emphasized by G.S. Ghurye. Okay. So select your answer from these options. So here from the options, it is clear that there is two characteristics. So among this 5 characteristics, 2 of them is not related to G.S. Ghurye's concept of caste system. So find that and please comment it in the comment down. Okay. Okay, so no answer. So I think we can move to the answer part. So the right answer is option 3, C and D only. C, open system, and D, achieved. So open system and achieved are 2 characteristics which are not related to G.S. Ghurye's concept of caste system. Okay, open system and achieved. G.S. Ghurye never talked about open system and achieved in his concept of characteristics. Okay, so that is the right answer here. Not related to characteristics of caste system emphasized by G.S. Ghurye. So these are the G.S. Ghurye talked about 6 main characteristics of caste system. Okay, so he talked about 6 main characteristics of caste system. They are segmental division of society, hierarchy, restriction on feeding and social intercourse, civil and religious disabilities, lack of unrestricted choice of occupation, restriction on marriage. Okay, so these are the 6 main characteristics of caste system discussed by G.S. Ghurye. And in these 6 characteristics, he isn't talking about any open system or achieved status. Okay, so that is why they are not related to G.S. Ghurye. Okay, so please note it down. These are the 6 main characteristics of caste system by G.S. Curry. This is really important. So now let's move to our next question. 4 institutional imperatives according to R.K. method. What are the 4 institutional imperatives according to R.K. method? So here we have 5 options given here. So among them, one is incorrect. So you have to find out which one is the incorrect answer. Then you can easily find out the 4 institutional imperatives. Okay, so we have to find out the 4 institutional imperatives by R.K. Marx. And the options are universalism, particularism, communism, disinterestedness, and organized skepticism. So among this, you have to find out the 4 institutional imperatives from the options given below. Please comment down the answer. Okay. So the answer is option 3, which is A, C, D, and E only. A, universalism, C, communism, D, disinterestedness, and E, organized skepticism. So these 4 are the 4 institutional imperatives according to R.K. method. Okay, particularism is not there in 4 institutional imperatives of R.K. method. Okay, so these are the 4 Mertonian norms. Okay, so Merton described 4 aspects of science, which later came to be known as Mertonian norms. So these are the 4 aspects of science described by Merton. They are known as Mertonian norms, and they are communism, universalism, disinterestedness, and organized skepticism. And in a short form, we can call they are known as Kudo norms. Okay, Kudo norms. CUDO. C for communism, U for universalism, D for disinterestedness, and O for organized skepticism. Kudo norms. Okay, so these are the 4 Mertonian norms. Okay, so now let's move to our next question, which is who gave the concept of plastic sexuality? Plastic sexuality. Whose concept is plastic sexuality? And the options are Ulrich Beck, Sigmund Bauman, Anthony Giddens, and David Matthew. Whose concept is plastic sexuality? Okay, so the right answer is Anthony Giddens. Okay, Anthony Giddens. Plastic sexuality is a concept of Anthony Giddens. So the concept is known as plastic sexuality in modernity. Okay, in this concept, Giddens argues that most recent phase of modernity introduces plastic sexuality, providing individuals in modern societies with unprecedented choices regarding when, how often, and with whom they engage in sexual activity. Okay, so that is the concept of plastic sexuality. It is something which formed as a result of modernity or in modern societies. Okay, and what is this plastic sexuality is that in a modern society, the individuals have unprecedented choices regarding when, how often, and with whom they engage in sexual activity, or simply we can say they got a sexual freedom. Okay, and contraceptive advancements have alleviated women's fear of repetitive pregnancies, and the development of a self that can be actively chosen contributes to the emergence of plastic sexuality. Okay, so that is the concept of plastic sexuality in modernity by Giddens. So now to our next question, which is all truths are ideologically biased. All truths ultimately reflect the interest and biases of social groups. Whose views are these? Okay, who said these words? Options are Karl Marx, Karl Manning, Charles Lamont, and Clifford Geertz. Whose words are these? All truths are ideologically biased. all truths ultimately reflect the interest and biases of social groups. Okay, so give attention to the keywords: ideology, truth. All these are keywords. Okay, and try to answer the question. Even though you don't know this exact statement, you can sometimes find this kind of statements, who said these statements, just by observing the keywords. Some keywords are very unique to some thinkers, so by identifying those keywords you can easily answer these kind of questions. Okay, so now let's move to the answer, which is Karl Marx. Okay, Marx said these words. So according to Marx, social conflict is caused by the diversity in thoughts and beliefs. Beliefs we can call beliefs as ideologies. So social conflict is caused by the diversity in thoughts and beliefs among major segments of society that derive from differences in social location. So this is his words, my name's own words. And ideas and beliefs are rooted in larger thought systems, a phenomenon Manim called relationism. So according to him, these ideas and beliefs are rooted in larger thought systems. Then he discussed about these concepts or these things in Ideology and Utopia, his famous work, Ideology and Utopia. And in this book, he states that ideologies are mental fictions whose function is to veil the true nature of a given society, and they originate unconsciously in the minds of those who seek to stabilize a social order. And in ideologically charged situations, one's prejudices end up affecting one's factual beliefs. Okay, so here, of course, the keyword was ideology. Okay, so the answer is Karl Marx. Now, let's move to the next question. Who among the following considered person-to-person relation and actually existing relations as constituting the social structure? Okay, and the options are M. Ginsberg, A.R. Radcliffe-Brown, Raymond Firth, and R.K. Noether. So, who among these thinkers considered person-to-person relation and actually existing relations as constituting the social structure? Or who viewed social structure as this combination of person-to-person relations and actually existing social relations? Okay, so the answer is A.R. Radcliffe-Brown. Okay. So, according to Radcliffe-Brown, social structure is a part of the social structure of all social relations of person to person. Okay. So, according to him, social structure is a part of the social structure of all social relations of person to person. And he explained that social structures are arrangements of persons and that organizations are the arrangement of activities. Okay. So, according to Radcliffe-Brown, social structures are arrangements of persons and organizations are the arrangement of activities. So therefore, the life of a society can be viewed as an active system of functionally consistent, interdependent elements. Okay, so this is the description of Radcliffe-Brown about social structure. So our answer is Radcliffe-Brown. Now to our next question. Who defined class as when a number of people have in common a specific causal component of their life chances? Who defined class like this? And the options are Karl Marx, Max Weber, Friedrich Engels, and Antonio Gramsci. Who defined class like this? When a number of people have in common a specific causal component of their life chances. Whose definition is this? Okay, I think let's move to the answer. So the right answer is Max Weber. This is Weber's definition of class. Okay. So Weber's theory of, we already studied that Weber's theory of social stratification is based on three fundamental components. Okay. Class, status, and party. We know that. And for Weber, a class is a group of individuals who share a similar position in the market economy and receive similar economic rewards. Okay, so according to Weber, a class means a group of individuals who share a similar position in the market economy and people who receive similar economic rewards. And according to him, classes are groups of people who are distinguished from each other through their ownership or control of production and who share similar life chances, okay, or people who share similar life chances. So here life chances is the keyword, okay. So according to him, people belonging to a class also share similar life chances according to Weber. So what is this life chances? So life chances means the opportunities an individual got during the various stages of his or her life. That is life chances. So life chances means the opportunities people get during different stages of their lives. That is life chances. Okay, so this definition is given by Weber about class. Then on the other side, we have, just a second. So here we have Marx also in this options, and sometimes we may, confuse among these two options. Is it Marx or Weber? Because Marx also talked a lot about class. So there is a chance for you to get confused between these two options. But for Karl Marx, he defined classes are defined and structured by the relations concerning work and labor, ownership or possession of property, and the means of production. So Marx defined class based on these aspects: work and labor, ownership or possession of property, and the means of production. It is Weber who defined class based on or using the concept of life chances. Okay, so the right answer here is Weber. Okay, now to our next question. The main works of Karl Marx were. So among these 5 options, you have to find out the major works of Karl Marx. Okay, and the options are Dictionary of Marxist Thought, Power, a Radical View, Grundrisse, Class and Class Conflict in Industrial Society, and a contribution to a critique of political economy. So among these 5, you have to find the 2 works of Karl Marx. Okay, 2 works written by Karl Marx. Okay, so the right answer is option 1, C and E only. Option C is Grundrisse. I don't know the correct pronunciation. I think it's a German word. I think it is pronounced as Grundrisse. Grundrisse. Then it is written by Karl Marx. And then the other option is option E, a contribution to a critique of political economy. Okay, so these 2 were written by Karl Marx. Okay, now let's check who wrote all the other books, or who are the authors of all these other books here. So, a dictionary of Marxist thought. It is written by Thomas Buttermore and it got published in 1983. Okay, then the next book, Power, a Radical View, published in 1974, author Stephen Lukes. Next book, Grundrisse, 1939, written by Karl Marx. Next book, Class and Class Conflict in Industrial Society, published in 1947, written by Ralph Dahrendorf. Then next book, A Contribution to the Critique of Political Economy, published in 1859, written by Karl Marx. Okay, so the right options are Grundrisse and A Contribution to the Critique of Political Economy, both written by Karl Marx. Okay, so now to our next question. Salford Parsons has given the following functions of the social system. So among these 4 options, you have to find the functions of social system described by Salford Parsons. So this is a very simple question. So not actually you have to find out from this. They have already given the 4 functions here, but you have to arrange these 4 functions in the correct sequence. Okay, so there is a sequence for this functions. So You have to just arrange these four options in a correct sequence. So the options are integrative function, adaptation function, latency function, and goal attainment function. So this is a very, very simple question. Okay, I think this is the simple question in today's class. Okay, if you know the abbreviation, okay, we actually have an abbreviation for these functions of social system by Parsons. So if you know the abbreviation, you can easily, you know, easily attend this question, or easily give the answer. So without wasting time, let's go to the answer because it is a very simple question. Okay, the answer is option 4, BDAC. So that is the correct sequence. BDAC. B, adaptation function comes first, then D, goal attainment function, second position, A, integrative function, and C, latency function. So that is the correct sequence. So here, this is the short form or the abbreviation. I think all of you know this. The abbreviation is AGIL, Agile Paradigm, which is a very, very, very famous concept in sociology. So Parsons developed the Agile Paradigm as a sociological framework in the 1950s. So it is a systematic representation of specific societal requirements that must be met by every culture to maintain social order. Okay, so this Agile Paradigm represents some societal requirements which every society or every culture should follow in order to maintain social order. So, in this book, The Structure of Social Action by Parsons, in this book that he describes his action theory, and he included this Agile paradigm in this book, okay, The Structure of Social Action. And Parsons said that every system is sustained by the Agile system, which comprises four functional imperatives. So, these are the four functional imperatives: adaptation, A for adaptation, G for goal attainment, I for integration, and L for latency or pattern maintenance. Okay, so this is the correct sequence, AGIL. Okay, this is a very simple question. Now to our next question. According to Goffman, when passers-by glance at one another quickly and then look away again, it is called. What is it called? Okay, so we meet so many people outside every day in public places, and usually when we pass by some other people, we just look at them and then we suddenly look away. Do we stare at some random people every day in public places? No, we don't do that. We just look at some people and then we suddenly look away. So what is this process, or what is this action is known as? Okay, so Goffman has given a name for this action. What is it called? Is it disengagement, or is it interaction, symbolic interaction, or civil inattention? What's the term given by Goffman for this particular social action? Okay, so the right answer is civil inattention. Okay, so when passers by glance, we just look at other people for just a second and then we suddenly look away, isn't it? We don't look at people, or we don't stare at people for a long time. We don't do that. Okay, so when we just look at or glance at one another quickly and then look away, this is known as civil inattention. Okay, Goffman called this process as civil inattention. Okay, so this term is coined by Erving Goffman, and it refers to the ways in which people maintain a comfortable social order in public spaces by explicitly disattending to one another and their actions. Okay, so why we do this? Like, we do this kind of civil inattention process in order to maintain a comfortable social order in public places. Just think that if we just keep staring at each other in public spaces, that would be very uncomfortable, isn't it? So we follow this kind of some rules, or some unwritten rules, we can call it. Like, we follow this kind of unwritten rules, or we follow this kind of decorums in order to maintain a comfortable social order in public spaces. So civil inattention is not only about, glancing at one another quickly and then looking away. It includes this process also, but it is a wide term, including so many ways in which people maintain a comfortable social order in public spaces. For example, we can say another example, the minimal social interaction among people packed into an elevator. So when we get into an elevator, we can see lots of people inside an elevator, isn't it? When we go to a mall or a shop or somewhere or a movie theater or anywhere, when we enter a enter an elevator, there would be so many people. So we just glance at each other and just give a small smile. Sometimes we just smile at each other and then we look away. We don't talk each other so much, or we don't stare at each other. We don't do that because that would be so awkward. So we just look at all of the people and then we look, or we just look away. So that kind of a keeping a decorum, or that kind of acting in a way is known as civil inattention. Okay, so we are intentionally doing that in order to maintain a comfortable social order in public. So that is known as civil inattention, coined by Erving Goffman. Okay. Now to our next question. In his theory of structuration, Giddens focuses on what aspect in his theory of structuration? And the options are structural dualism, duality of structure, dichotomous relationship, and binary oppositions. Okay, so the answer is duality of structure. Okay, so Giddens focuses on duality of structure in his theory of structuration. So duality of structure is a phrase coined by Anthony Giddens. Okay, it is a phrase coined by Anthony Giddens, and it is duality of structure is the main proposition in his explanation of structuration theory. It is a main proposition in his structuration theory. And in his own words, in Giddens' own words, he defined duality of structure as, by the duality of structure, I mean that the structural properties of social systems are both the medium and the outcome of the practices that constitute those systems. Okay, that's how he defined duality of structure. Okay, so now let's move to the next question. Who among the following maintains that social structure has nothing to do with empirical reality? Who said that social structure has nothing to do with empirical reality? And the options are Nadel, Louis Firth, Levi-Strauss, and R.K. Martin. So who said this? Or who maintained that social structures has nothing to do with empirical reality? Okay, let's move to the answer. So the answer is Levi-Strauss. Okay, answer right answer is option C, Levi-Strauss. So according to Levi-Strauss, the object of or the objective of social structure studies is to understand social relations with the aid of models. Okay, so according to Levi-Strauss, social structure studies should, or the aim of social structure studies is to study the social relations using models. Okay, and he said, and according to him, the term social structure has nothing to do with empirical reality, but with models which are built up after it. Okay, and social relations consist of the raw materials from which the models making up the social structure are built. And social structure can by no means be reduced to the ensemble of the social relations to be described in a given society. Okay, so the correct answer is Levi-Strauss. He said that, or he maintained that social structure has nothing to do with empirical reality. Okay, so now let's move to our next question. Concept of runaway world is used by whose concept is runaway world, or who used the concept runaway world? And the options are Anthony Giddens, Pierre Bourdieu, Jürgen Habermas, and Manuel Castells. Who used the concept runaway world? Okay, if you know the answer of any of these questions, you can answer in the comment sections, okay? That's why I'm giving a few seconds after each of these questions so that you can answer. Just answer it. It's okay even if it is not right. It's okay. You can try that. If you answer in the comment sections, this would be more interesting. Now it just feel like a one-way communication. Okay, anyway, let's move to the answer. The concept of runaway world is used by, the right answer is Anthony Giddens. Okay, so runaway world, Anthony Giddens actually has a book named Runaway World, which was published in 1999. Okay, so runaway world, it refers to a rapidly changing global society. Okay, a rapidly changing global society characterized by unprecedented transformations in various aspects of life, such as technology, economy, and culture. Okay, and Giddens argues that modern societies are caught in a dynamic loop of self-reinforcing changes, creating a sense of unpredictability and instability. And this runaway world is marked by the acceleration of social, political, and environmental shifts, challenging traditional structures and creating a constant state of flux. Okay, so the concept is used by Anthony Giddens. He has a book named Runaway World, which was published in 1999. Okay, so now let's move to the next question. Who has used the term serendipity in sociological research? Okay, who used the term serendipity in sociological research? And the options are R.K. Merton, J. Galton, Karl Popper, and C. Celtis. Who used the term serendipity in sociological research? Okay, let's look at the answer. So the right answer is R.K. Merton. Okay, so Merton used the term serendipity in sociological research. Okay, so one prominent sociologist who has used the concept of serendipity in his work is R.K. Merton. And in his book, The Sociology of Science, Theoretical and Empirical Investigations, Merton discusses the concept of serendipity as an important factor in scientific discovery. Okay, so in his book, The Sociology of Science, Theoretical and Empirical Investigations, Merton discusses about this concept. And according to Merton, serendipity refers to the unexpected discovery of something valuable or significant while in pursuit of something else. Okay, so it refers to, according to Merton's explanation, this serendipity means the unexpected discovery of something valuable or significant while in pursuit of something else. Okay, so we might be looking for something else. So in that discovery or in that journey, we may find something unexpected which is actually valuable or significant. So that is known as serendipity according to Merton. And he argues that serendipitous discoveries often occur as a result of the creative tension between established scientific norms and the pursuit of new ideas and research directions. Okay, so that is how Merton described about serendipity, and he discussed about this concept in his book, The Sociology of Science, Theoretical and Empirical Investigations. Okay, so now let's move to the next question. Which critical theory has Jürgen Habermas emphasized? Okay, which theory was emphasized by Jürgen Habermas? Theory of neocolonialism, theory of exchange, theory of structuration, and theory of communicative action. Which theory was emphasized by, or which critical theory was emphasized by Habermas? Okay, and the answer is theory of communicative action. Okay, so this is one of Habermas' most important idea. It is theory of communicative action, and he first articulated about this idea or theory in his book, The Theory of Communicative Action, Volume 1, which was published in 1981. Okay, so he first first proposed this theory in his book, The Theory of Communicative Action, Volume 1. Okay, and according to Habermas, communicative action refers to the use of language and communication to coordinate social action and achieve mutual understanding between individuals. Okay, so according to Habermas, communicative action means the use of language and communication in order to coordinate social action and in order to achieve mutual understanding between people. Okay, and then he argued that communication is a fundamental aspect of human social life and that it plays a crucial role in shaping our understanding of the world and our relationships with others. And he also argued that communicative action is subject to distortion and domination by various forms of power, including economic, political, and cultural power. Okay, so he said that communicative action is subject to distortion and domination by different forms of power like economic power, political power, and cultural power. And also, he suggested that these distortions or domination can be overcome through the establishment of ideal speech situations in which individuals engage in communicative action on an equal footing with no external power structures influencing the communication process. So that's how he suggested, that's how we can overcome these distortions of communicative action. Okay. So now let's move to the next question. Which scholar is associated with the term thick description? Okay, which scholar talked about the term thick description? And the options are Karl Marx, Alfred Schutz, Erving Goffman, and Clifford Geertz. Which thinker is associated with the term thick description? Okay, so the right answer is Clifford Geertz. Okay, so thick description is a term coined by the anthropologist Clifford Geertz, and he defined it as the detailed account of field experiences in which the researcher makes explicit the patterns of cultural and social relationships and puts them in context. Okay, so that is the definition of thick description given by Clifford Geertz himself. And thick description goes beyond mere description of facts or events and provides a deeper interpretation of the meanings, context, and implications of the phenomenon. So, thick description basically means a deep interpretation of meanings, context, and implications of a phenomenon. That is thick description, deeper interpretations. Okay, and it is related to Clifford Geertz. Now, next question. The History of Sexuality, 3 volumes written by which thinker? Paul Rainbow, Michel Foucault, Peter Brown, or Saint Augustine? Who is the author of The History of Sexuality, 3 volumes? Okay, let's look at the answer. So the right answer is Michel Foucault. Okay, Michel Foucault is the author of The History of Sexuality, 3 volumes. So actually there is 4 volumes. Okay, so the History of Sexuality has 4 volumes actually, and the first volume is the Will to Knowledge, which was published in 1976. Second volume, The Use of Pleasure, 1984. Third volume, The Care of the Self, published in 1984. Okay, so both of these volumes were published in 1984, and these first 3 volumes were written by Michel Foucault. Okay, so first, second, and third volumes were written by Michel Foucault. Then there is a 4th volume which was published in 2018, and the title of the volume is The Confessions of the Flesh. Okay, it was published in 2018, but it was published posthumously. Okay, that's why we said that it was not actually written by Michel Foucault. It was published posthumously after his death of Michel Foucault. But the first 3 volumes were written by Foucault himself. Okay, so these are the 4 volumes of The History of Sexuality. Okay, so now to our next question. Which of the following motives of the actor was not dealt by Talcott Parsons? not dealt by Talcott-Parsons. No, Talcott-Parsons didn't talk about which of these following motives of the actor: cognitive, evaluative, numerative, cathectic. So, in order to find the answer, you just have to know the motives of the actor given by Talcott-Parsons. If you know those motives of the actor given by Talcott-Parsons, then you can easily answer these questions. Okay. So let's look at the answer, and the right answer is option C, numerative. Okay, numerative. It is not discussed by Parsons. He never talked about any numerative motive of the actors. It is wrong. So, evaluative, cognitive, and cathectic motives were addressed by Talcott-Parsons in his social action theory. Okay, so in his social action theory, Parsons talked about three motives: evaluative, cognitive, and cathectic. So, evaluative refer to an individual's judgments and assessments of the social world. That is evaluative. Then, cathectic refers to an individual's emotional attachments and investments in social objects such as relationships, institutions, and beliefs. Okay, so that is cathectic. Then there is cognitive. Cognitive means mental processes such as perception, thinking, memory, and problem solving. That is cognitive. And Parsons did not delve deeply into the specific numerical aspects of individual motives or quantitative aspects of behavior. He did not talk about any numerical aspects of individual motives. Okay, so these are the three motives addressed by Parsons in his social action theory, which are evaluative, cognitive, and cathectic. Okay, so let's move to the next question. 22nd question. So the question is, there are two levels of meanings which are implicit in Sanskritization. Okay, which are those two levels of meanings which are implicit in Sanskritization? And the options are historical specific and contextual specific, contextual specific and cultural specific, historical specific and culture specific, and the last option is none of the above. So among this, which two are the levels of meanings which are implicit in Sanskritization? I think we can move to the answer. So the right answer is option A, historical specific and contextual specific. Okay. So here, when we say the term Sanskritization, we think it is given by, or we always think that all these concepts are related to M.N. Srinivasan. But here, this historical specific and contextual specific levels of meanings is not actually given by M.N. Srinivasan, but it is related to Yogendra Singh. Okay. So Yogendra Singh suggests that there are two layers of understanding within the concept of Sanskritization. They are historical specific and contextual specific. Okay. And historical specific means the traditional and historic aspects. Then contextual specific means specific social and cultural circumstances in which Sanskritization occurs. Okay, so these are the two layers of understanding within the concept of Sanskritization suggested by Yogendra Singh. Okay. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now let's move to our next question. Who had given the concept of modes of individual adaptation? Modes of individual adaptation. This concept is given by which thinker? The options are Emile Durkheim, Talcott-Parsons, R.K. Merton, and Peter Bloch. Okay, let's check the answer. So the right answer is R.K. Merton. Okay, so the 5 adaptations. Okay, so the Merton has explained 5 adaptations to strain. Okay, 5 adaptations to strain in his strain theory. So Merton explained 5 adaptations to strain in his strain theory, which are conformity, innovation, ritualism, retreatism, and rebellion. Okay, so the short form is CIRRR. Okay, so these are the 5 forms of individual adaptation to strain given by Merton. Conformity, innovation, ritualism, retreatism, and rebellion. CIRRR. So this is also a very common question or a common concept which we can see in UGC NET sociology question paper. Okay, so it is very important. So the short form is CIRRR. And each of these adaptations is a result of the interaction a person experiences between culturally accepted goals and the socially accepted means of achieving those goals. Okay, so these are the 5 adaptations to strain given by Merton. Okay, let's move to the next question. 24th question. The concept of habitus deals with. Habitus relates to what? Social status of the individuals. Option B, psychological orientations of the individuals. Option C, behavioral dispositions of the individuals. And option D, economic situation of the individuals. Among this, which concept is related to habitus, or which option is related to the concept of habitus? Okay, let's check the answer. So the right answer is option C, behavioral dispositions of the individuals. Okay, so in sociology, habitus is a concept developed by Pierre Bourdieu. Okay, and it refers to the norms, values, attitudes, and behaviors of a particular social group or social class. Okay, so that is the concept of habitus developed by Bourdieu. Okay, so now let's move to our last question of this session. So the 25th question. Societies can be compared to organisms that both have 3 main systems. Okay, whose this statement is associated with which thinker? Societies can be compared to organisms that both have 3 main systems. And the options are Karl Marx, Herbert Spencer, Emile Durkheim, and Auguste Comte. This is related to which of these options? Societies can be compared to organisms that both have 3 main systems. Okay, so the right answer is Herbert Spencer. Okay, so according to Spencer, societies and organisms had 3 main systems. Okay, so according to Spencer, both societies and organisms had 3 main systems: a regulative system, a sustaining system, and distributing system. And in case of organisms, the regulative system is its central nervous system. But in societies, the regulative system is its government. Then, in case of organisms, the sustaining system is its giving and receiving nourishment. Okay, that is what sustains an organism. But in case of societies, industries, jobs, money, and the economy sustains the societies. Then, in case of distribution system, organisms have veins and arteries. Then in societies, for distribution system, we have roads, transportation, and the internet. So like this, according to Spencer, both organisms and societies had 3 main systems like regulative system, sustaining system, and distribution system. Okay, is it clear? I hope it is clear. So this was the last question for today's session. I hope it was a very useful session for you. I tried to include very important questions in this session because we had a limitation for time. I hope it was a very useful session. And so tomorrow also we will be continuing our PYQ sessions, and in tomorrow's class we will be discussing another unit. Okay. So prepare for tomorrow's PYQ session also and try to answer in the comments. If you know the answer, please. Then we can continue the class like a conversation mode. Okay, that would be very interesting. So see you in the next class. Good night. Bye.